but you can do a lot of research into liberals on Hinge and Bumble, and it's a combination of feminism, toxic signaling, brainwashing, atheism, LGBTQ, abortion, everything. It's the whole thing that goes into the composite of your modern liberal female mind. And at 30 years old, 40 years old, they have no children. And they will, in their profiles, they say, if you support Trump, we are not on the same moral equivalency, and I cannot have anything to do with you. These are brainwashed people. There are 60 million of these people, and there will be more Karen Fafos, just like in Minneapolis. They will commit themselves to the ultimate cause because they have nothing else in their lives to live for.
These people have nothing to lose, which is very, very, very scary. And I will say we can blame it on the second wave of feminism.
Well,
I mean,
no, go ahead.
I'm gonna say from my perspective, you guys are not gonna like to hear, but from my perspective, I hear the same thing from the right all the time. I hear something, and they just say, "Oh, this is a Democrat," blah 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 blah. So I don't see any difference in terms of that.
Except the right is right.
Well, that could be. In terms of the language, there isn't a difference.
If I could get earthy, crunchy, spiritual for a moment. Back in the 90s, early 2000, there was in that community this understanding that both the feminine and the masculine had value, and that neither one should be preferred over the other. And so there was and the recognition that we have, that you can't say it's better to be this, better to say that, and each served its function. And it's my feeling that so you got things like you need to be your quote authentic self. Well, it's my feeling that the left subverted that message. So you get trans people saying, well, it's my authentic self to view myself as a woman, even though I was born a man. That's one example of that. And the idea of empathy, well, we're better because we have more empathy. And not understanding that empathy, in theory, is good, but that too much empathy is also detrimental, and it's always important to have boundaries, because how it affects your energy can be detrimental. And you see how detrimental it is when you see people like what happened in Minneapolis, people who claim to be more empathetic end up getting shot by police because they've now weaponized it. So, yeah, I mean, in conclusion, that's where we're at.
In conclusion, it's a morally failed society. When you're performing vasectomies on young women to meet your gender psychosis, we are living in a defunct society with criminals and 60,000 American babies, 80,000 American babies a month that we murder. We're living in modern Babylon. That's the ultimate truth. These Epstein revelations, when the fact that you realize Bill Clinton is a serial predator pedophile and his wife is a regime changing cunt fucking mass murderer. These are our elected leaders, and so we have to admit that we are all living underneath a clown world tyranny, and it's up to you, the listener, the American doer, to fight and resist this type of clown world tyranny. And Clown House is a symptom of this clown world tyranny, where Clown House has become the complainium. People come here to do mass complaining, but they accomplish nothing. They do nothing. They run for nothing. It's just a complaint form. That's all it is.
I don't think you should assume that people aren't doing anything in politics, etc. I don't think I'm politically active in my local party.
Well, you're one in a million, Michaela.
I bet you a lot of people here are like that. Don't you think? Anybody else?
No, Michaela. Very few. I mean, this is a political room, but there's very few rooms. Most of these rooms are just complaint room, entertainment, comedy rooms.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, right. We're discussing the Quran, right?
We're supposed to be discussing religion.
We're
So
tired.
so we're a little lucky that Megatron is in here because he doesn't allow any politics.
You
But
guys,
Mark,
January 6th, this was all you.
but well, I'll have to take the blame. But no, March, to your last point, and you raised some things that you find concerning. The problem is that the majority of Americans support those things. So I don't know that. Like, you would need a re-education program or something to convince people to change their minds on the subject.
Hillary Clinton speaking.
What's that?
You think we should be in re-education camps?
No, I listen.
He's concerned about things that the majority of Americans support. So in order to change that, you would have to somehow change the opinions of the.
Well, it's a question of education and knowledge of the law and ethics and virtue. Murdering 80,000 children a month for $1 billion a month when we're already 39 trillion in debt. There literally is no fucking priorities of money in this country when we're this far in debt. This is the end of our civilization we're fighting over. This will become the Hunger Games. The stock market is already down 5%. Gold is falling 30%. Everything is crashing because we live in a fucking dollar bubble. It's because of Congress and the House of Representatives. Your senators and your congresspeople have sold us out for 25 fucking years at an unprecedented level of borrowing and spending. We are approaching the end. It's going to come crashing down because we built a huge bubble.
I understand, but Mark, you understand my point that the majority of Americans support these policies.
It won't fucking matter when there's no economy, Euro. There won't even be abortions because no one will even be pregnant. And they're not pregnant already because of the COVID-19 ZAV.
Exactly.
Okay, what do you do about it? I mean, you're citing real problems, and I'm pointing out that the majority of Americans support these policies, so it's a difficult problem to correct unless you have a non-democratic solution.
I think that it's still correcting with the young people. I think maybe that the young people are seeing that, because they're naturally rebellious. Maybe I think maybe some of them are starting to rebel against this craziness.
Well, Joe Hero said it very well all the time. He reminds us that people think that that history started when they started paying attention, right? So I can say that, like, in my 20s and things like that, I was just like, in my prime, I wasn't paying attention to politics. I was voting, but I definitely was not like voting because I was like in the know and paying attention, and shame on me for that, right? So essentially people have voted based on like just clickbait stuff and headlines and going in and just voting. So they say I voted, right? So that like how we got to where we are now is based on, we'll say 30 years, right, of social engineering, people falling for it, not paying attention. So
generational voting, that's the big one. My mother voted Republican, my daddy voted Democrat. That's one of the loyalty to the party because my family was that, and that's kind of how it started and was for years. However, as Michaela said, I think she's right that largely the younger generation is paying more attention today than many people that were teenagers and in their 20s were in the past.
but paying
Right,
attention
there are
to,
some
like,
things-
what things?
There's some things that cross party lines, right? So I gathered from what March was saying, for instance, that he objects to the abortions and the abortion deaths. The problem is the majority of Americans.
Drew, don't repeat yourself a fourth time. We've already heard it. The response to your statement is that I've run for Congress and I get letters in the mail. I'm not making this up. There are people in pro-life circles that write letters to candidates nonstop. My mailbox is full of people that want to end the mass murder genocide of Americans. Our population is already decreasing. We don't have a birth replacement rate. Stop the abortions, stop the funding, make it illegal. These doctors are committing murder. These are tyrannical fascist leftists committing mass murder every single day. 3,000 a day. We killed 3,000 precious, beautiful American babies every single day. Every day. $1 billion a month? Are we crazy? Hello? Where's our leaders? We have no fucking leaders. Just a bunch of clown leaders. A bunch of clown world syndicate fucking mafioso liberal Democrats. Hello?
Hello, I understand what you're saying. You're making a very passionate and strong argument for your position. What I'm pointing out is the majority of Americans don't agree with that position.
That's not true.
Oh my God.
True. The reason why, okay, so Donald Trump is president because majority of Americans, essentially, we are against killing babies.
They're against killing babies, but they also are in favor of allowing a certain period for women to have that ability to exercise abortion. Well, that's what every polling shows. Every time it's been on the ballot, people have voted that way. So there's just no evidence to support the principle that the majority want a complete ban on abortion.
No, Euro's right. Look, they do want where the voting has been is that the American people want some abortion up to a certain limit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They don't want it unlimited.
Yeah, even Trump has that position. Trump, he thought DeSantis's position in the primary when DeSantis was too much. So Trump threaded the needle on that, and he got a lot of slack. But he got grace because he was the one that said, I'm going to appoint justices to get Roe versus Wade overturned. And he did, which literally, if you asked us 10 years ago in America, no one would have believed that to ever happen. So it's evolving. The Overton window is shifting towards pro-life. But we can't frame it as it's a majority of the country because it's not.
Right, and it was given back to the states, and so some states chose to not put it on their ballots, and some states chose to put it on their ballots. So not all states voted on that. And in my state, it was a governor race, and the Democrat governor was that you could have an abortion up until full term, right? And then the other side was ban abortion completely. So it was like it was the complete opposite, and those were the two options on our ballot. Either completely ban it, or that women can have up to 40 weeks to have an abortion. It was like, okay, obviously I know where I stood, but like that would be, because I would say majority of Americans want.
This is misappropriation of funds. As the voter, you don't vote for this, but commissioners, governors, mayors, they misappropriate funds for abortions against the will of the people because there is no will. There's no vote. We do not get to vote on this, and it should be a voter issue. Instead, we have Democrat, liberal, fascist thugs that manipulate, lie to us, and steal from us to go kill babies. We are living in a fallen, failed society of immoral virtue signalers who claim they have the moral high ground, but they're fucking murderers.
Are you broadcasting this, by the way? You sound like that guy that broadcast this on YouTube or something.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Are you following me on YouTube, John Kitover? You should check out my new Sora videos because I'm getting a lot of views doing Sora comedy, making fun of vaccines and abortions. In fact, if you have 3 abortions, I'll give you a free vaccine. Hello?
So, Marge, did you object to the comments that Daniel raised earlier?
Daniel Nero about the elections with the petitions? Yeah, I listen, I spent thousands of dollars hiring circulators to go out there and get me signatures. And the fact of the matter is, Darren LaHood has caused over $10 trillion in COVID-19 fraud for a scamdemic pandemic. Little old me running for Congress has caused mass chaos in the political spectrum. And that's what I'm encouraging all of you clownhouse netizens to do, is to actually run for office. Don't just participate with people who are working in politics. Run for office yourself, and you will see how you will be accused of fraud. But I've accused Darren LaHood of fraud 1,000 times, and he did commit fraud, trillions of dollars in fraud. So if you think little old me with my pathetic little 266 signatures and the hundreds of other verified signatures that were out of district because of all the districting issues, it's a nothing burger. I'm sitting here talking to you, a free man, with no fear of any repercussions for my campaign, and I am a write-in candidate for the 16th district, running against a rhino who poisoned his own people with vaccines that were an unnecessary medical intervention for a scandemic. And in the Epstein files, Epstein himself is in communication with Bill Gates, cooking up the pandemic. So listen, if anybody wants to accuse me of fraud, great, center me. Make me the center of attention so I can take that attention and show you the real criminals in our society, the murderers and the billionaire scam artists poisoning we the people. I am complete. Hello?
Hello, March. So can you try to keep your answers just a tad shorter? So what I wanted to know, and hats off to you for, running and stuff like that. I think it's really, really admirable that, you put your hat in the ring. So how many signatures did you have on your petition? How many?
Hello? Are you still talking about my petitions? Hello?
Hero's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Anyways, the title of this room is Islamic Sensitivity to Criticism, and that's the truth. Muslims are very sensitive when it comes to Islam. If you talk any shit or have any, comments about the authenticity, because in my opinion, it's easy to commit intellectual property theft or copyright infringement. And, if you accuse the Islamic faith of committing IP theft, you're going to get some blowback. Hello?
Coco, are you with me?
What's interesting here in Chicago is people are actually filing lawsuits against the Illinois State Board of Elections and political operative insiders who are involved in an actual conspiracy to completely monopolize, dominate, and control the ballots here in Chicago and in the state of Illinois. There are active lawsuits going to the Illinois State Supreme Court alleging fraud within the political industrial complex of Chicago. Many people know that Illinois is corrupt as fuck. And I and other people have been exposing it by trying to inject ourselves into it and fighting these lawyers and corrupt judges. It's real. And Pritzker is at the center of a massive fraud, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in state contract frauds, federal frauds, a lot of USAID fraud. There is so much fraud that has been happening for so long, especially under Biden. Let alone when Biden left, he gave out $100 billion in grants to these NGOs for energy and other shit like that. So there's real fraud out there. My little 266 signatures, which I'm proud of, is a miracle that I even got that. People want change, and they want authentic politicians, not these evergreen cookie cutters who put out the same messaging, and they're coordinating their messaging. They're talking to Speaker Johnson and putting out the same fucking messaging. So that's not authentic. They don't really represent the people. They don't meet with the people. They don't give a fuck about the people. They care about the hundreds of billions of dollars that Boeing, Lockheed Grumman, Apple, that's who that butters their fucking bread.
Politics took over this room tonight.
Many people. I did a lot of research on Grok. Who are the top 25 recipients of the big big, better, beautiful bill. The number one is like Lockheed Martin and Apple and Google and Microsoft. They all got in total over 500 billion a year in tax credits. That gives the liability to the taxpayers. That's not fair. Our children shouldn't get loans taken out on them on their behalf without a vote. There's no representation. Every single year, the federal government is borrowing $10,000 on your back or more. Everybody owes $450,000 each American. Just do the fucking numbers. It has exploded. The debt in 2000 it was nothing. Now it's unimaginable. It has doubled and doubled. That's insanity. We as America, that's not our history. How have we done this to ourselves? Because of the wars, because of the lies, the fake news, and the contracting, and the never-ending omnibuses. Vote for individual pieces of legislation and spending. When you go to a restaurant, you don't order the whole fucking menu. You order one entree, one appetizer, and you pay for a portion of the bill. You don't pay for the whole fucking thing every single time. And these speakers are criminals. Mike Johnson is a fucking well-dressed criminal. That motherfucker's hair is perfect, but he's lying to us.
Okay, March. I don't know if you're keeping your responses short, and I do apologize. I got cut. Did you answer my question about how many petition signatures you had? Because I missed it.
But you left.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
So you wanted him to address it for the third time?
It's been addressed one time.
He did, because so you had read this article and he was thrown to the audience, then he was brought back up to address it, and within his first 3 words of trying to address it, you had interrupted, and then Daniel said no one interrupt, and then he kind of got thrown away again.
Well, okay, I don't remember interrupting him giving the answer. I know I asked for it, and one time I left, so hopefully we can correct it this time. So March, what was the number?
Listen, I've addressed it enough. If somebody else in the room wants to fucking repeat the shit that I just said, or you want, you can go on my YouTube and watch the playback. Feel free.
I apologize, dude. I left the room. You think I did it on purpose?
And March, you better keep your answer short, okay?
Well, I think that's a fair request when the answers are very, very long.
But what's long to you? Because
Listen, I've gone on and on all night long.
A bunch of great points within 30 seconds.
I didn't hear his last response, so I don't know if it was long or short. I know that the response before I left was incredibly long, and all I said is I hope he's keeping them short. So I listened to commentary suggesting that it was long.
Listen, my sensitivity to petition questions is irrelevant at this point. I'm a write-in candidate. I had to write every single clerk throughout the whole district to get on that fucking ballot. And guess what? A lot of those clerks are politically connected to LaHood, and some of them didn't even respond to me. But they endorse LaHood and have to run for their own clerkship. I'm telling you, Illinois is so corrupt, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. California and other states are engaged in massive fraud. It's unbelievable. Anyways, Euro, thank you very little. I hope your green bean makes you feel great. I know you're a super fascist at heart, but you're a nice guy, but your questions are pointless. Daniel Nero is the actual fraud. Daniel Nero has been engaging in car insurance fraud by selling bad policies. Hello?
Was how many signatures? I don't think it's a big deal. It's not a positive or negative thing. I'm just curious how many signatures you were able to secure.
266, you just said that.
No, 266 were the number that was validated. He submitted a greater number. I know
Right,
that.
so you asked how many signatures he got.
That's what I asked so many times. How many signatures were submitted? If not, I'll just have to look it up myself. I mean, it's just crazy.
So what he had stated was that obviously when you're getting signatures, and I actually have done this for Christian Lamar that you may know from this app when he was running. So you get a few people to be able to knock doors or reach out to people, text people, and to gather signatures right on your behalf. And so what he stated is that his team gathered signatures along with himself. And so those signatures were turned in, and he himself got 266. So that's what he was stating.
I'm just interested in knowing the total number of signatures that were submitted. 266 were validated. Now I know.
So if he was disqualified for invalid signatures, what he was stating is that as a collective team, there may have been what constitutes as an invalid signature, and is he accountable for all of those? I mean, there's no criminal.
No, of course not. This happens. That's a normal part of the process.
Euro, the point is, they audited my petitions.
John James in Michigan. Do you understand that the first time that he was running for governor, he submitted invalid signatures and was disqualified? Did you know that?
Lots of
Euro, I didn't engage in any fraud. Euro, I'm gonna answer your question. Euro, I'm gonna answer your question. I turned in 170 pages. There's 10 signatures on each page. So the point is, Euro, I did not commit any fraud. I didn't forge any signatures. Okay, and I'm gonna finish my statement. And the final point is basically you bringing it up for no fucking reason because Daniel Nero's got a stick up his ass. This is a Bible and Quran room, not a John Kitover roast room, okay? I'm a write-in candidate, and you can go to johnforcongress.com, and any complaints you have, you can submit it to the Jewish Complaint Department. I run a JCD nonprofit. If you got complaints, just go to the John Kitover Complaint Department or the Jewish Complaint Department. It's the same thing. And you can take all your complaints there about my petitions and my campaign, but there's no point. I'm a write-in candidate for Congress. Hello?
hello. So listen, I'm not complaining at all. The point that happened was Daniel brought it up. I didn't bring it up. He gave me an incomplete picture, and I just wanted it completed with knowing that.
Listen, the point is they give you back PDFs of all your petitions with all the challenges. Hundreds of my signatures were valid, which were not counted because they were called out of district. Now it's incumbent upon me to reverse challenge those and argue that they're valid signatures. The whole thing is such a fucking scam, Euro and Daniel. You guys have never done it. You've never experienced petitions and all the bullshit the courts and the lawyers drag you through. It's a fucking scam. The whole thing should be digital at this point. They control who's on the ballot because they don't want change. They're afraid of change and people who tell truths. The fact is this country's broke. Our cities are broke. Our states are broke. They're all in debt. The whole fucking system is completely upside down. Since the year 2000, we have spent an inordinate amount of money, and there's pensions that will never be paid. You think you got a pension, you got half a pension or less. That's the truth. And we need truth tellers out there to tell the truth, and until people start coming out, and we get arrests for these fucking Epstein files, which we've been long waiting for, we are demanding fucking arrests. Hello?
Hello. Actually, I agree with you on the Epstein files. There should be arrests. But you raise an interesting point because you mentioned about some of those ones that were thrown out were actually valid because they were called out of district. Could you explain what that is, called out of district?
Yeah, there's precincts. I'm in the 16th district, and it's a gerrymandered map. So if you live across the street and you sign my petition, they're not going to call you a valid signature. Hundreds and hundreds of my signatures were valid, but they called them out of district. You guys haven't seen the actual receipts. You guys are just reading from a little blurb on the Illinois. I got the actual documentarian trail, the real evidence. I have the actual information. You guys have a little blurb on a website by a guy with a huge herpes sore on his face who does political commentary in corrupt Illinois. Hello?
Oh, that's why you're the one I'm asking, because you have the info. All right. Well, thanks a lot for explaining those two terms or those 2 points.
Listen, the people that got paid to go out there and get those signatures got paid by people here on Clown House. I made all of my circulators come on here and on board and do public fucking interviews and get publicly trained before they went out there and got signatures. I did the whole thing transparently on Clown House. And the point is, people are upset that I ran for Congress. I got them to donate. Do you know how happy my circulators were that they got thousands of dollars to go work for me? People on Clown House help people pay their rent and get food. The people that worked for me were destitute. They came from Craigslist. So You know, I don't want to throw them under the bus. People here on Clown House helped people in the real world. We did real political work, and I'm proud of that fucking work. And people who want to roast me, well, just make me the center of your attention. That's the whole point.
But that's
Hello?
the point of it all. Well, yeah, because then they'll pay attention to your content.
I don't think there's anything wrong with people responding to Craig's ad list, but
No,
I don't
but
know.
obviously there's not. That's why he had them work for them. And I actually was in the room, one of his clubhouse rooms, when 3 of those individuals were in there. So that is true.
If I got hauled before a judge and a jury, I would just say, listen, I'm the Craigslist candidate. And the whole thing was recorded. Even in the challenge against my petitions, they listened to the clubhouse recordings and put that in the legal paperwork because I made the whole thing transparent for a fucking reason because I don't want to get in any trouble. Hello?
You always will have the receipts, that's for sure. Gosh, the archives march that you have. Ugh.
Oh, I didn't even notice that it was up in the, whatever you call that, the leaderboard or whatever it's called on top. The link.
Yeah. Articles can say whatever they want, but they don't tell the whole story. It was very apparent when we were discussing January 6th. Headlines are headlines.
I mean, you have the government lying to you like day after day, so.
Charles, stop.
No.
You hate yourself.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I triggered you, Anne.
No, you didn't trigger me. It's just everything that you say is so negative about Americans. I'm just done with it. Every day you just talk about and shit on America, which is just every day, over and over.
Where I'm from, we call those
Listen,
facts.
we call you Canucks. Just stay over there and don't come to Michigan anymore.
Why would you think I would ever go there?
The Canucks are always over here.
Correction, we're always over there.
Oh, hey, Charles, did you see Mark Carney got outed in the Epstein files for raping children? Your beautiful Mark Carney is a pedophile rapist, a serial pedophile. What do you think about that, Charles? He's in the Epstein new release. Isn't that exciting?
I looked into that, but the last time I saw you sharing news, it was a lie, so I'm going to assume this is a lie. But hey, I would feel just as, I mean, actually, I would care, unlike Americans who seemingly support pedophilia now. But let me look that up.
Okay. You just come on here just to shit on America. That's it. That's like your goal and purpose. What a life you have.
Do you have any idea how many times Trump mentioned Canada in the last week?
I just want you to go one day. I challenge you.
Okay, well, I challenge Trump to go one day without threatening
my
Canada.
challenge. At least hear my challenge. My challenge for you is to go an entire week without shitting on America or talking about Donald Trump. Do you think you could do it?
I could do it if Trump could do it, but since Trump has mentioned Canada
Okay, so you
4
can't do
times
it.
in the last
So
week,
are you saying that you don't accept the challenge?
are you saying Trump can't do it?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking if you accept the challenge.
Sure, I accept the challenge
has
with the
nothing to do-
caveat that I'll only do it if Trump does it. Thank
Okay,
you.
no. So this is my challenge to you. So you're not accepting the challenge. Okay.
I can't really accept the dumb challenge.
That's okay. It's okay. You don't have to accept it. I understand it's hard. It's tough.
I think we would say asked and answered.
So, Jarl, it's okay. I know that it can be tough. That would be if I was you, but I wouldn't be you.
Just out of curiosity, you actually don't have any clue how many times times Trump mentioned us in the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, Jerome, we heard that already. Moderators, point of order, moderators, moderator, point of order. I got a question for you about human behavior. My question is, why do people hold the green bean supermod like they're fascists? Why don't you just mod everybody and and just let people talk? I don't understand. I don't even understand. It should be the exact opposite. It should be people just modding everybody and letting the thing go. Instead, you hold these little pearls as if there's some type of like protective layer for your ego, and there's no ego. You're just, pathetic. Hello?
And it got duly considered.
I can't believe that Gerald didn't accept the challenge. What a baby.
Listen, I want to thank Manville. I was listening into a Manville conversation about high frequency trading and his software and his service. And Manville, I took your advice. I started doing high frequency trading in the futures market. I've already made $400,000. So thank you, Manville. I just thought you were a stupid cop. Hello?
Stupid? You thought Manville was stupid?
Yeah, I thought he was a knuckle dragging, fucking pistol wearing cop, with his fucking handcuffs. Get in the back of the car. I'm taking you to jail. I thought he was just a dummy cop.
Good time.
You will get caught.
So Manville, congratulations on your very successful advice. I'm wondering, Mark, since you made $400,000 from his advice, how much are you going to send back to him?
Well, I'm a customer of his, so he's already made thousands of dollars from me signing up for his subscription software. Thanks, Manville. You're the best.
Oh, you're a Quant VPS customer now?
I think that's what you said.
Let me just turn that server off here.
Thanks to you, Manville. That's a pretty good endorsement.
Yeah, I'm a Quant VPS. Thanks, Manville. I mean, I have anonymous accounts, and man, I'll tell you, bro, I'm taking you to Cancun. I'm paying for everything because you have made me $400,000. Thank you, Manville.
Well, send them at least 40,000. 10% is very reasonable.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Kitover, Mark Carney, the Mark Carney photos with Epstein are AI generated. This is the second time this week you share AI generated photos as claims. I don't understand. Can you not tell what is AI generated?
Well, I'm sorry, but Mark Carney is a known pedophile now. Those photos have been confirmed. He's in the Epstein emails. You need to look at Pam Bondi's release. I'm sorry, Gerald, but you can't cover up for Mark Carney, the pedophile. He is a known pedophile. He's gonna get arrested. Hello?
Hello. So, Darrell, I have a question for you. How is Mark considered on the world stage?
He's considered one of the smartest world leaders.
That was a concise statement, very accurate.
Gerald, why does your TBS blur your vision from anything else going on in the world?
You probably have no clue what's going on in this world. How many times did Trump
I
Can you name As a fallacy that you have made up this season, it's not a real thing. You support American economy. You have AIDS. American exceptionalism, delusional syndrome.
European Union. Forget
So
Finland.
you can't just
the European Union is better.
You're away.
success. You can't just attribute Finland's
Euro,
success
why are you just interrupting everyone?
because an accurate statement was made, and I want to correct it.
Wait, inaccurate according to who?
According to me, because I'm
100% euro, of course.
Because why? Because
I'm familiar with the situation. I've done research in this.
You've done research. You're not even an American.
This is about Finland I'm talking about. So in any case, Finland has a very good track record with homelessness, which is not simply attributable to its ethnic background. Because
Right, it's also like minus 20 outside, which kind of gets rid of the riffraff.
no, because previously, before implementing the program, they had a bad track record. They corrected it, so it's directly attributable to the program that's been in place for several years, which is to reduce homelessness. So that's
And what was
the primary emphasis
Are you claiming that Scandinavian solutions can solve the problems in anywhere else in the world?
Of course, you can try it out. Do it.
You go ahead and do that. I can tell you off the rip, it's not gonna work.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but
Because the Americans are exception.
pilot programs to see what works and what doesn't work.
What pilot program? The free needles and decriminalizing of hard drugs in Oregon and Portland that failed miserably?
No, well, I was talking specifically about a housing first strategy.
Getting people houses. Okay, so of the homeless population, right, in the United States, who do you want to give houses to?
Well, what the Finland approach is, you give it to all the homeless people, and the thing about it is, the solution ends up costing less, so it's less money. And
How many homeless people in America?
No, on a per capita basis, it costs less money, like significantly less money,
Oh, like in California where they have rampant fraud, and every other state where they have HUD and all, hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, where it doesn't actually go to helping anybody. Maybe it goes to the landlords and the super real estate corporations, but it doesn't actually help many homes. Hello?
One of the things that's one of the problems that Housing First resolves, because it eliminates all these middlemen that is in the current process. And the stepped approach, they go through multiple levels.
So when you let
Wait, point of order, point of order. I want to point out that the middleman is going to be the problem for everything then. And then we should get rid of health insurance. You know that, ladies and gentlemen? Get rid of health insurance. Let's get rid of the middleman and everything. Hello?
oh my god, it'd be so awesome.
That would be amazing.
But am I really supposed to fuck?
No, see, this is the problem. The problem's not the middleman. The problem's the government that causes the middleman to exist to begin with. It's the government, stupid. Hello?
So your solution for problemlessness is to do nothing?
But we are already doing too much.
I understand doing too much, doing too little.
We need to stop. We need to stop wasting resources on people that don't want to be healthy.
Well, what do you mean? I get $100 or $1,000 in food stamps, and I go on trips all the time. Oh my God, these people.
$100,000 in food stamps. You think that that's like a realistic number that people would receive? That's absurd.
I said 1,000.
Okay, I'm sorry. I definitely heard 100,000.
And I was definitely being hyperbolic, but these are real videos that people have posted on the internet stating how much they get in food.
There's all kinds of fraud.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of fraud. There's all kinds of wasted programs that are supposed to house people and end up helping like 2 or 3 people. But they're reporting that they're helping thousands. They're raking in millions of dollars. Personally, these are people with salaries $250,000 a year and up, managing the homeless. I'm pretty sure, right, that $250,000 can buy you some kind of fucking house. Right, for every one of these fucking NGO workers that are running out there like fucking documenting shit or registering people for fucking classes on how not to be a fucking dope fiend, like we can fucking get some houses to some people who legitimately want to get back on their feet. But what you have to grapple with is the fact that if you give a meth head a choice between meth and literally anything else, he's going to choose the fucking meth. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a guy who was, smoking meth in a box on Skid Row, who's now smoking meth in a larger apartment box in this fucking place surrounded by a bunch of fucking meth heads. And they're going to rip the copper out of the fucking walls, and then he'll buy more fucking meth. So, until you give him the fucking meth, he's never gonna be fucking satisfied. And he's gonna take whatever you give him, and he's gonna turn it into more fucking meth.
Well, the results in Finland and Switzerland has probably been very positive. I just want to say the transcription.
The results in this perfect fucking country full of perfect people who never stab each other, who don't rape each other, who have a...
I was almost finished. The other point I wanted to raise was the transcription also picked up 100,000, by the way, and so it's not too surprising.
Wait, did you really remove him from the room?
No, I didn't remove him from the room. I moved him down into the audience.
Rules for thee and not for me, huh?
What's that? No, I told
Yes.
you opportunities. I wasn't finished.
Yes.
Continue talking.
So to continue, continue Manville's point of what they spent $15 billion in 16 years on California's high-speed train, and they haven't laid one piece of track. You're up.
Oh, I believe there's a lot of waste.
How much do they spend on housing the homeless in California right now?
I got a question. Point of order, moderator. This is for the Democrats or liberals in the room. How much debt is too much debt? Meaning that is new economic theory essentially it's all just a Ponzi scheme, and it's essentially an empire civilizational Ponzi scheme, and therefore, we can go to $100 trillion in debt. Because AOC wanted to do like $100 trillion Green New Deal, That's the type of psychosis and low IQ we're talking about. They wouldn't be able to pass a gap accounting, audit. All of you need to go listen to this Epstein Bannon 3 hour roast of Epstein where Bannon is like insulting him to his face and at the end calls him the devil. It is the most interesting because you see the world through Jeffrey Epstein and his perspective about the fiat reserve currency system or fractional reserve banking. And he calls it magic and a mystery, and he calls himself a hermit. It is an eye exposing video, and Stinky Steve. Uh, it is hilarious because Stinky Steve roasts Epstein continually, and Epstein can't even give his money away because if you're gonna die, you want to give your money away. Nobody would take his money. You should really watch this interview. Did anybody watch it?
Sounds interesting. But to March, to answer your somewhat rhetorical question at the beginning about how much debt the U.S. could sustain, really depends on a crucial question as to whether or not the U.S. continues its status as the international reserve currency.
No, it can pay off the debt right now. It just has to issue another, 140 trillion, and then we could just call ourselves even. But the thing is, you got to look at it from like the Weimar Republic. Foreign money or people who are holding our paper overseas comes into the country, buys up all our assets, which they're already doing. They're doing all kinds of real estate transactions and buying out Americans. The point is that money is going to flow back into this country and drive our prices through the fucking roof. It could be specific to the United States. It might not be a global problem. Japan's, might not have that same problem. China might not have the same problem. We could find ourselves in a very serious, home prices are already crazy, and property taxes are driving people into bankruptcy. Homeowners insurance, and the whole thing is just going up, 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 up. Gas prices, electric prices, it's up, 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 and it's just going to keep going. There's no regulation. And the fact of the matter is, it's because we created 40 trillion in debt that we didn't have, plus spent 5 trillion every year that we did have. We've spent over 300 trillion dollars on what? There's never been a fucking homelessness solution. Where did all the money go? It went to fucking scams. It went to individuals' adjusted gross incomes. There are people out there with so much fucking money. Hello?
What do you mean when you say you spent $300 trillion?
From the year 2000 up until 2026, multiply that by 5 trillion a year plus 2 trillion a year in debt, and that's how much we have spent in 26 years. Do you know multiplication? Probably not. You probably can't even do fucking division. Hello?
You a question. So I wanted to know. It's a legitimate question. Hello?
Well, take your ticket to the window, as Jeffrey Epstein said. Jeffrey Epstein says that most people on Wall Street can't even do multiplication, let alone division. So take the ticket to the fucking window. I'll submit your complaint to the Jewish Complaint Department. I hope your green bean makes you feel great. Hello?
Oh, great. Dude, I'm dealing in reality. I don't know what kind of drugs you're on, but when you say $300 trillion without any reference, it's a totally reasonable question to ask, what are you talking about? And then you had to say it was over a 26-year period. So that proves my point.
No, it proves my fucking point that I can do multiplication like that. Hello?
You're supposed to know it's 26 years if you don't say since the year. You're supposed to read your mind. Hello?
I'm just saying, don't you think it's ridiculous that people get emotionally upset and scream into their phone in some random voice? How do you know I'm not just some AI chatbot sent here to make you emotionally upset? Hello?
It's okay when you scream, but when somebody else screams, then it's unreasonable. Dude, just get a life.
I just want to point out how the person saying I might be a chatbot is the person who has been spreading a bunch of AI images as real over the last few weeks.
Hello? No, I'm not. What are you talking about? Spreading fake AI images. Are you projecting? And when you say get a life, you might be projecting too. Hello?
Hello? I might be hello, and I might not be hello.
Listen, I play music, I create art, I make videos. I have over 100,000 Clubhouse videos out there. I got one of the hottest YouTube accounts called Clubhouse Live Podcast. You're all on it. And I need your participation. I don't want to make you enemies. I want to make you frenemies. And I want to make you shit.
Dude, I really like when you make relevant points, which is most of the time. I'm not sure that I get your biography of the said Trump has spoken about Canada many times over the last month. Did you want to recount some of those things that he has said?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So one of them was he tweeted a picture of Greenland, like most of North America, with the American flag over it. That's after threatening Greenland a few times, but then backing down. He also, so like a week and a half ago, he said Canada should make a trade deal with China. Then like 3 days later, he got really mad. He said we should not make a deal with China, and then he threatened to put tariffs on us. About 3 days
Not only
later.
tariffs, 100% tariffs.
Yeah, exactly, 100% tariffs. And then a few days later, because Canada didn't certify a certain series of planes, it's not even Canada, it's like anyway, Canada didn't certify certain planes, so he got really mad. He threatened to decertify every single plane that's made in Canada. And what else did he threaten? Like a bunch of, like, that's just like all in the last week, right?
But that pales in comparison to Mark Carney being outed in the Epstein files as being a pedophile. Hello?
Yeah, that's AI generated. If you stick him into just like the last month, I'd say that's mostly, but it's a lot. It's crazy. He's like literally upset.
Listen, Justin Trudeau is a Satanist wizard dating Katy Perry, another wicked witchcraft Satanist. These people are all pedophiles, adrenochrome psychopaths. I don't trust any of them. And Jarl here wants to sit here and fucking, shill for his own country, which deserves no respect. Not one Canadian on this app can hold their weight. I'm telling you, you guys are the most fucking steamrolled people on the planet. There's a reason why Americans cannot necessarily coincide with Canadians. Have you read our Declaration of Independence, Charles, and our eternal separation? That involves you. You're a part of those faggots over there on that island who sit there with their crown and give the annual budget with their fucking ruby emerald pearls. Jarl, you're a cuck to the king. Get on your knee pads, open up that king's cock, stick it in your mouth, and take some moose spunk and some maple syrup and take John Candy films and put them all back in Toronto where you all belong. Your whole population is nothing. You guys are what do you guys even do up there? You guys make oil, you cut wood, and you make good comedy films, but we didn't ask for you to, be the best comedians in Hollywood. Is Jim Carrey Canadian? Hello?
So, Jarl, one of the things I don't think you mentioned was the Alberta separatist movement and the push by the some people in the administration for independence for Alberta. What do Canadians think of that? Maybe if it's talked about.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, that also happened in the last week, and even apparently they're talking about funding separatist groups in Canada, which is pretty crazy. Half of me thinks, go ahead, separatists, take all the money you can from Trump. The separation of it is going to happen anyways. Some French Canadian, they're different from that. I have to give them, Alberta a right to their, if they want to separate, they should have that right. I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it's again, just another attack on who we're not used to it at this point. It's just another insanity that Trump is doing. Something like 30-35% of Albertans would support one, maybe. So it's still pretty low support for it. We're mad at Americans for interfering and getting involved, but at the same time, this was happening before the whole Trump thing, right? Like, it's not like necessarily random.
I feel bad for Canada. Canada is it's not a great place like it once used to be. Honestly, and I feel like we're just failing as a city. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Toronto. But Yeah,
and you see Canada failing.
oh yeah, it's feeling, bro. Canada, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, it's like Canada's like New York, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like New York, but more like fucked up. Like the prices for everything is going up. To buy a decent home, it's fucking insane. Like, you know, you need a shit ton of money to get an actual good home, and that's some bullshit. You know, it's just no. And then the immigrants, man. You know, it's just
So what you're saying is affordability. So how did we get to an affordability crisis? Some people call it a debt crisis. What it really is a spending crisis and a borrowing crisis. It's an affordability crisis. Hello?
hey, if you want to talk about it, man, niggas is broke. You know what I'm saying? Niggas.
Nigga, the price of the brick is going up.
Super quick. I'll listen for a bit after, but a quick statement. I think I respect your opinion, Herbert. I think Canada.
It's pronounced Herbet, Jarl. Please read it correctly. Herbet.
Oh, her bad. It's her bad, but it's okay.
Given what's going on in the world and the attacks against Canada, I think Canada's doing really well. Like obviously not like like really well given the circumstances, right? I think we're doing a lot better, and I think Canada.
You didn't see the Epstein video, Jarl. It's all an organic environment. Jarl, you're the product of Canada, and therefore we know that Canada can't be doing great if you're the product of Canada. It's organic, Jarl. You are a symptom of Canada. We can clearly observe the problem when we communicate with you. It's you, Jarl. The system has created you. You're a cuck, right? Like you have a wife who bangs bankers and you watch from the distance in the living room and you come on Clown House. Is that who you are, Jarl? Hello?
I don't know what's going on here, man, but like, this is crazy allegations, man. Is this true? Like, what is going on?
I don't ignore the guy.
Which is going on.
You don't know that guy, or it's like some type of rivalry or something? What's going on?